Morning. Welcome to session 7 of chapter 1 of company law. From last session we have been discussing the types of companies, and in this session we are going to discuss the sixth category or sixth type of company, that is on the basis of nationality. From previous sessions we have been discussing the different types of companies which have got incorporated on different bases. So here, on the basis of nationality, if you are going for classifying, three types of companies are available. One is domestic company, foreign company, and FERA or FEMA companies. Here, domestic company means the companies which have got incorporated in India, performing business operations in India, are called domestic companies. So it is as simple as the companies which have established in India are called domestic companies. And most of the joint stock companies in India are of this type. They have originated in India only. And second one is foreign company. The name itself says that a foreign company is a company which is incorporated outside India but performing business operations in India, has business places in India. Here, Companies Act of 2013, Section 2, subsection 42 has defined what a foreign company is. So, according to it, a foreign company means any corporate body which has established its business outside India, which was incorporated outside India, and two conditions: any institution which was incorporated outside India and has a business place in India, and it may conduct the business directly in India or through its agent, okay, or even physically or through electronic mode. In the sense, according to section 2 subsection 42 of Companies Act of 2013, to call a particular incorporation of as foreign company, there are two important requirements. Okay, first one is it must have got incorporated in foreign country and maintain business places in India, business units in India, either through agents or physically or through electronic mode or in any of the forms. Means any company might have got established. Okay, even a physical company might have got established. Second requirement: it must conduct business in any of the manners in India. So, if a company which was incorporated in foreign country completes these two requirements, it will be called as a foreign company under the provisions of Companies Act. And before stepping into the aspect of FERA-FEMA companies, we are moving on to some special provisions for a foreign company is enjoying with. So there are some special provisions for a foreign company. Here, Section 380 of Companies Act of 2013, a foreign company has to furnish to the registrar of companies. Means first, priorly what we have to do is to establish a company. When the concept of incorporating a company comes to your mind, first of all you have to with all the documents which are important to establish a company, which are needed to incorporate a company, you have to go to registrar of companies. So you have to take the prior permission of registrar of companies. Even after you are been permitted to establish a company, you can move ahead. Okay, so here with the registrar of companies, the foreign company has to furnish the following documents within 30 days of the establishment of business in India. Okay, understood? The special provisions says that within 30 days of incorporation of a business in India by a foreign unit, it has to submit some of the documents. with the registrar of companies. Let's see what are the documents. Here, a certified copy of charter, okay, memorandum of association and articles of association of the company, and any of the instruments, any of the legal instruments which is containing the constitution of the company, which is defining the constitution of the company. Any other instrument which is containing the constitution, means related constitution of the company. And next document is, if it is not there in English, okay, if it is in the language of the country, another country or a foreign country, the company of which is coming to India, and translation to English must be legally approved. Okay, so translated document, English translated document which was legally approved must be enclosed. A certified copy of the charter, memorandum of association and article of association, and the foreign, if the document is in foreign language, then it is to be legally certified translation copy must be enclosed. And next one, any of the instruments defining the constitution, okay, constitution of the company, not constitution of India, defining the constitution of the company, means legal rules for the company must be enclosed with. And second document is full address of the registered company, okay, means the principal office of the company which is in India. If a foreign company is coming over to India and performing business operations, then a head office must be there, right? So the head office address must be, registered office address must be given in black and white form. And the third document is list of directors and secretary, who is who statement, and persons who are decorating different positions of the company, and hierarchical ladders must be clearly stated in black and white form. That is a list of directors and secretary of the company, and who is the secretary, who are directors, what a board is consisting of, constituents of the board must be stated. And next one is the full address of the company in India, which is to be deemed to be the principal place of business in India. The important place of business address must be stated, means foreign company which is coming over to India to perform business operations, it must select a strategic business unit, right? So that strategic business unit must be clearly stated, means the principal place. Say for example, a company of Japan, if coming over to India, it will be called, the subsidiary of Japan company will be called as foreign company. And if it owns 30 subsidiaries in India, one place supposed to be selected as the main office place, right? So this office place address is also to be enclosed with. Next one, the name or names, address or addresses of one or more persons resident in India. Okay, here the person who is representing that company is to be mentioned there. And one person from India must be appointed for the purpose of sending documents to the company, and he must be authorized, okay, he must be the authorized person to perform transfer of documents on behalf of a foreign subsidiary, and process any notices or any other documents, okay. So for these, one person from India must be appointed, and his name and address, or his names and addresses must be stated in clear words. And next one, particulars of opening and closing of a place of business must be stated, okay, when the business gets open and when it is likely to close the business in India on earlier occasions is to be stated clearly. Next one, here declaration form should be signed that none of the directors of the company or the authorized representatives in India has been convicted, debarred from the formation of companies and management in India or abroad. If the person is caught theft or held liable for any of the offenses, okay, if he is held liable for any of the offenses, or if he is bearing the obligation, he was in imprisonment. So if something adverse happened to the character of the parties who are going to incorporate a company, permission will not be available. So there must be clear character certificate for those companies, in the sense they have to sign a declaration form stating themselves that they are not holding any character abuses, or what we can say, any character deteriorating, they have not involved in any character deteriorating issues. And the last one is, as and when the Indian law necessitates a foreign subsidiary, Indian Companies Act necessitates a foreign subsidiary to provide any of the documents, it must be in a position to provide. Here, the next type is FERA or FEMA companies. Why I have given this? Because FERA means Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. But in place of Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, now we have FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act. Okay. So, here, FERA company or FEMA company, now FEMA company is there. FERA company is a company in India which holds more than 40% of its equity capital by foreign residents. Okay. If a subsidiary in India, if a company incorporated in India by a foreign country, okay, by a foreign country, company in India in which foreign residents are holding more than 40% of equity capital. Okay, this is what FEMA companies. So, these are the different streams of one thing I want to make you clear, that company which is in India must hold more than 40% of the shares by foreign residents. Okay, this is what FERA or FEMA companies. So by this I put a very big end to different streams of companies, and one more stream is there, seventh stream, that is other kinds of companies. Other kinds of companies. Here other kinds of companies means, apart from the above discussed stream of companies, there are some other companies also which cannot be included to either category. Okay. First one, deemed public companies or 43A public companies. Why it is mentioned as 43A public company? Because now means, as I said earlier, amendments take place to the company law in time. So in course of time, if some of the unused laws are eliminated and some of the contemporary requirements will be added as clauses to the company law. So it keeps on revising, keeps on seeing the amendments over the years. Therefore, under the amendment in the year 2000, amendment to Companies Act in the year 2000, section 43A was omitted. Okay, so for now, deemed public companies are 43A public company, where it is mentioned as 43A because now it is not there. Okay, that section is not there in the Companies Act. And let's see the meaning of deemed public companies here. Section 43A of the, needless to explain it, because the name itself says that section 43A of Companies Act, a private company is deemed to be a public company when it has more than 25% of the paid up share capital will be held by two or more companies. Okay, one or more companies. If one or more companies hold more than 25% of the shares of a private company, it becomes a deemed public company. Okay, more than paid up share capital. So what is the meaning of paid up share capital? Here first the private company issues shares and will ask the shareholders to bring back the amount outstanding on share capital, and shareholders if pay the full amount of shares. If a particular share is priced rupees 10, then as and when the shareholders pay rupees 10 on the shares, 10 on each share, the share capital will be collected. We can rightly say that the share capital is collected fully. Okay, so this is what paid up share capital. Okay, so it may be by equity or preference. Okay, regardless of the type of share, equity or preference, if the fully paid up share capital of the company is more than 25% held by one or more companies, okay, it will be called deemed public company. And it is very important for you to note section 8 companies, the next category of companies. Very important from examination point of view. Companies not for profit or licensed companies. Okay, or it is also called section 8 companies. Mind it, companies not for profit or licensed companies, and it has another name, that is section 8 companies. Here the name itself suggests that companies formed not for the purpose, not for the purpose of profit. Okay, if an incorporation is incorporated not for the purpose of profit, and but for promoting non-trading purposes, say for example education, sports, charitable trusts, okay, for promoting art, promoting science, if an institution is established, then such companies are falling into this category, section 8 companies. Means again, companies which are not established for the purpose of profit, rather as non-trading concerns, okay, for the purpose of promoting art, science, and charitable institutions, hospitals, education institutions, sports, etc., okay, are called non-profit organizations. They can also obtain a license from central government and get themselves registered as companies with the limited liability. In this also a special feature is there. Special feature of limited liability is there. Means the people can enjoy with limited liability feature of companies. If something adverse happens to the company, they are liable, each member of the company will be liable to bring back the amount to the extent of a capital contributed by them. That is what limited liability. Here they can also get permission from central government to establish their own companies and register themselves with limited liability. Under section 25 of Companies Act of 1956 or section 8 of Companies Act of 2013, these companies may be, see here, under two sections, the name is mentioned here, meaning of this company is mentioned here, or about this company is mentioned here. Section 25 of Companies Act of 1956 or section 8 of Companies Act of 2013. Here why it is called, even if it is even it appeared in section 25 of Companies Act of 1956, why we are still calling it as section 8 companies? You might have come across a doubt. So as an answer to this, we are now referring Companies Act of 2013, not the Companies Act of 1956. Therefore here and these companies are called section 8 companies. Okay, so these companies may be public limited companies or private limited companies. Okay, and as we have studied in the previous sessions that public company can eliminate public, if it is a public company, it can eliminate the word limited or private limited, right? So here with the prior permission from central government, if it is a public company, it can eliminate limited or the word private limited from their names. This permission is also there. Okay, and we are moving on to I hope you understood what Section 8 companies are. Exemptions to Section 8 companies. See, some exemptions from central government are available for Section 8 companies. Let's go for seeing it. Here, the first exemption is appointment of a qualified company secretary shall not be mandatory. Qualified company secretary, it need not appoint. Okay, so Section 8 companies need not appoint a qualified company secretary. This is exemption. Why? Because in other companies a qualified company secretary must be there. Second one, general meeting may be held by giving 14 days notice instead of 21 days. See, in regular course for other companies, prior to the holding of general 21 days, prior to the general body meeting of every general body meeting, before 21 days the meeting notice must be circulated. But here general body meeting may be held by giving 14 days notice. Okay, means this is one of the exemptions, and it need not, there is no rule that they have to wait for 21 days. So only in a gap of 14 days they can give the notice and held general body meeting. Next one, here Section 118 is prescribed for all companies for recording minutes. Okay, but this exception, minute means the thing we have discussed in the general body meeting. Okay, minute book is maintained by the secretary, and in that minute book the important points discussed, important clauses discussed are recorded. So this Section 118 is regarding that, and recording of minutes is not necessary. Okay, and exception is also there. It is not necessary in all cases, but exception is there. And except, see, Section 118 does not apply except for some companies where minute book is recorded within 30 days and article of association provides for that. Okay, provide for the confirmation of minutes. Means minute book is to be completed, or minutes are to be recorded within the 30 days of conclusion of every general body meeting, and where the article of association provide for the confirmation of minutes. Next one, Section 149 again. Section 149 relating to the appointment of minimum and maximum number of directors shall not apply to such company. Companies, institutions which have got established under Section 8 of Companies Act of 2013, where the company need not appoint minimum and maximum number of directors. Next one, again Section 149 and 150 relating to the appointment of independent directors on the board shall not apply. Here independent directors are to be appointed on the board. Which clause need not be included as per Section 149 and 150 need not be followed by companies which have got established under Section 8. Next one, a Section 8 company needs to hold at least 2 meetings of the board, one in every 6 months instead of 4 meetings. Okay, so there is a rule for all companies generally that the company, there is also an exemption that generally the companies must hold 4 meetings. Okay, but Section 8 company need to hold at least 2 meetings of the 2 board meetings, one in every 6 months in place of 4 meetings. Okay, and next one, the next point is, this point I have not stated here, even this point is there, right? There. Okay, next one, Quorum of the board meeting shall be either 8 members or 25%. 25% of what? Quorum of board meetings means total members to the board meeting shall be either 8 members or 25% of the total members. Total strength of members, okay, or 25% of total strength. Whichever is less, okay, the option is whichever is less. Again, quorum of the board meeting shall be either 8 members or 25% of the total strength, whichever is less. Provided, here also an extension is there, provided it is not less than 2 as against 1/3 of the total strength or 2 directors, whichever is higher. Whichever is less, okay, but minimum 2 directors must be present or 1/3 of the total strength, whichever is higher. So these are the rules. Hope you understood. Thank you.